Linda, good to catch up. We are about to launch our series of videos to help entrepreneurs achieve success, achieve their purpose. And essentially now, as we are about to come out of lockdown, a lot of businesses are going to be needing support. Most don't know how to get that support. And for you and I, who have been in business for quite some time, and essentially with your experience from journalism, there is a lot of value we can offer entrepreneurs based on our experiences, how we've been able to survive lockdown and moving forward. And I feel it is essential that we do this to support our viewers out there who are watching us now to get the support they need, get through the hard times, and achieve their success, achieve their purpose.
Yeah, I think there are several groups of people. You've got the people who were making great strides in their businesses, who've now been held up, who want to move forward. And there are people who had only just started their businesses and now need help regaining the kind of momentum they'd initially achieved. And of course, you've got a whole lot of people who lost their jobs. For them, the only way forward may be to set themselves up in their own business.
Absolutely.
So I think this kind of guidance and these kind of sessions are going to be invaluable to people going forward.
Absolutely. And I think we need that here in the UK. The Americans do it so well for some reason, but we don't seem to do that so well here in the UK. Someone starts and then it doesn't carry on. But our intention is to have this series regularly, and we get that support. We give the support that's going to help these, entrepreneurs, small business owners. And like you rightly said, a lot of people lost their jobs, and there are quite a few who have started businesses in this season of the pandemic.
I think it's about acquiring skills, just the way you would in the military, or just the way an athlete would gain skills because they're coached by a professional coach.
Absolutely.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yes.
People have to develop skills. They have to form a plan. They have to keep to the plan and resist the temptation to fly by the seat of their pants.
Yes.
And that way they will believe in themselves. They will learn self-belief, which is really the cornerstone of all achievement when you start a business.
Yes, it's essential what you said. They're just flying by the pan, because quite a few people, do start and they just want to run without a structure. And you have to rein yourself back and know that you need a structure. You need a structure. If you want to be successful in business, you need a structure. You just can't wing it. You need a structure to be able to achieve your success in business.
I mean, in a nutshell, you have to crystallize your purpose. You have to build a plan that feeds back from that purpose, and then you have to acquire essential skills that back that up.
Absolutely.
You have to understand your numbers, that's critical. You have to have good presentation skills, that's also an essential part of business. And you have to develop physical and mental resilience in order to stay the course, because it's a tough life.
It's tough. You can't just come in and think you're going to just sail. It's tough. You have to be able to be ready to fail, because when you are ready to fail, it helps you create that mindset that anything is possible. When you know the potential failures, you can plan for them and then create the steps to get to
I think developing a growth mindset where you see failure, whatever you want to call it, even if you're going to be blunt and call it failure, you can just call it one step on the road to success.
Absolutely.
So that's an essential thing.
Yeah. I think it was a post I heard, this soft drink called 7-Up.
Yes.
Do you know the story behind it?
No.
Okay, so I heard the story, and it was apparently a 7-time attempt to create a business. He tried once, he failed. He tried second time, he failed. It was on the 7th attempt with the soda drink that he got it right, and he decided to name that drink 7-Up.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes,
yeah.
you
Well, it's like Muhammad Ali once said, it's not how many times you fall down that count, it's how many times you stand up again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
It's really important to have a plan, because even when, and it will be a when, you deviate from it, you know how to return to it after you've had to adapt.
That happened to you today with your sat nav, didn't it?
Yes.
You knew where you were coming to.
Yeah, and I did get here eventually,
Yes.
although I was a little late.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
I think what entrepreneurs need, when small businesses really need, they need that kind of plan, that roadmap, in order to set them on the right path. And partly that's to do with paying attention to the numbers. They should never, never, never neglect the numbers, because that's such a critical thing. But also they need to understand how to build self-belief and how to build resilience, both mental and physical, because, you know, it's a tremendously hard road to hoe.
It is.
And there's no doubt about it that most, probably half of small businesses fail.
I think it's more than that. And we've seen that happen with the pandemic. A lot of small businesses have gone out of service. And that's because they were not resilient. You know, let's use that word, resilience, you know, because they didn't put in place the right infrastructures to help them get through the difficult, you know, times.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about, you know, when we talk about risk for businesses, for entrepreneurs, we are trying to help them see the positive side of risk, because the whole thing about risk is you have to be a risk taker. You have to have the mindset. You have to have that mindset to be a risk taker. You cannot be an entrepreneur, a successful one, if you are not going to take risk. It's not possible.
Yeah.
So you can't be saying, I want to be a multimillionaire, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, but then when it comes to you taking the steps to get there, you are shy about that. You don't want to spend, you don't want to invest in yourself. You've got to invest in yourself.
Sure. But I think also, Chiz, it is about minimizing the risk. It's about controlling the risk. So you start by accepting that risk is inevitable, but at some point you have to quantify the risk, minimize the risk, and understand the risks you're taking.
Absolutely. And this is my bread and butter, like, you know. You know, and I always say to entrepreneurs, know your risk. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to know your risk. Yes, it's good to take risk, but you want to take the risk that will get you to your purpose. I like to call them the good risk.
Yeah.
And then you need to also know the bad risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can cause you to fail? What could disrupt your flow? You know, when you know your risk in these terms, you know, okay, good risk, bad risk. What do I do with the bad risk, or the potential bad risk to happen? You have to put in the right controls.
Yeah.
When you put in the right controls, it enables you to stay resilient when things go wrong.
Yeah, I think that's what is so interesting about what we're proposing to do.
Yes.
One of the things is that you're able to use your previous career in assessing risk in the financial sector.
Absolutely.
And you're able to bring that structure and those skills into helping support entrepreneurs and also, of course, teams in corporate life.
Yes.
I think I'm kind of trying to do the same thing by taking things from my previous existence as a journalist and a television presenter in helping people stand up and stand out, crystallize their message, learn better presentation skills, because those are so critical to success in any business. That I think that all small business should invest some time in learning how to do those things. And the other thing I think that is essential is the whole subject of physical and mental resilience, the whole subject of meditation and mindfulness and remaining calm in a crisis, but also physical fitness, nutrition, exercise, that kind of thing.
That's essential.
Is essential to the modern businessman or woman.
Just going back to what you said about, you know, taking steps, you know, just to mention, you know, the clients we're working with now, without mentioning names or anything like that, you know, I'm so proud of this guy because he identified that there was a gap. He's taken the steps, he's reached out to us. Now we're helping him. This is week 4 now into the 3-month program. We're working on with him. And you can see progress. And, you know, you have been essential to him because now he sees, okay, I want to play with the big boys. I need to work with these guys to play with the big boys, to work with them. How have you brought your experience? Because I see the change in him. I see how the confidence level has risen. What is it you've done to help him get to that level of confidence, to be able to say, I need to have a position of strength and look that way, feel that way, mentally and emotionally?
So I think one of the things I do is that as a journalist, I'm used to doing, particularly in current affairs journalism, I'm used to doing very deep if you like, interviews where you really get to the bottom of who someone is and what drives them forward. So one of the things I did with our client, who does work for a global company, is that I interviewed him about what really mattered to him, what he believed in, where he wanted to go in general with his life, not just his business life, but his personal life. And we had, the first 2 hours was really just lifting the lid and getting to the bottom of everything, because he had a particular area that he wanted to improve upon, and that was highlighted also by his line manager, and that was in the area of presentation. And I don't think you can be a good presenter without addressing all those things first. And then when you are a good presenter, the benefit of that is you don't just become a good presenter, you become someone who I think has more self-belief and more standing and more authenticity. And I think that is incredibly important.
Amazing. And this is why, when I say the risk of you as a brand, it's not just the name of a company or my company. It's also you, the risk of you. It's taking that whole life approach into business, because you gave me an experience some time ago, and this is where, your personal self, your lifestyle affects your business. You mentioned about, I don't know if it's in the papers anyway, some guy who had this crazy lifestyle, very successful and all that. But in the end, the lifestyle affected the business, because in the end, he lost his life, sadly.
Yes.
And, this is one thing that we need to take into consideration when we are running a business, how we are as a person, our lifestyles, the fundamentals of our family, and so on and so forth, affects what we do. You cannot separate that from business, because life is life. In life, you have several elements. You have yourself, you have your business or work or education, and so on and so forth. You have to know how to structure these things in order to achieve your purpose.
Yeah, and I think that is becoming more and more obvious, because we're moving into an area of, an era, in fact, of ethical business.
Absolutely.
And so no one is going to be able to start a business, and no one is going to buy into a business unless they believe it's ethically run.
Absolutely.
I think if the last year has taught us anything, it's taught us how to review our values.
Absolutely.
And that is incredibly important going forward, and I think is an essential part of any business performance coaching.
It is, and that is why we will continue to work in this, dimension, taking the whole life approach to everything we do, because it doesn't make sense to say we are going to help you succeed in business without taking into consideration, the personal side, the well-being side of business, the well-being side of things. It helps me, it helps you understand how we can help a client. And one thing that's essential to say is that it's not one size fits all. Every client we work with is different. We have to understand the client. We can take what we give to A and give to B. It has to be, it won't work. So, because everyone's purpose is different. And that way we can build a solution that works. And we can take that forward for an individual client or for a group of clients and help them to achieve their purpose, and so on and so forth. So I hope we found that, you find that helpful. This is one value we thought we would share, and I hope we're going to do more of this to help a lot of our peers, a lot of entrepreneur peers out there to succeed, because we all want to succeed, and if we succeed together, everyone succeeds.
Yeah, and I think they'll be the heroes. They'll be the heroes of the forthcoming economic period of time.
Absolutely. I think the time is now. Great. Thank you very much, Linda. It's been a pleasure.